My boss was a big football fan, Notre Dame fan at work, and he told me he's only going to write my recommendation letters to the rest of the business school if I also apply to Notre Dame. So that's how I applied to Notre Dame. But I think once I got into Notre Dame, and I got into 3 other schools, I came back to campus and I talked to the director of admissions at that time. And the amount of time he gave me in talking about Notre Dame, where he never talked bad about other schools, but he talked about what I want to do, how Notre Dame will help me better than any other school available there. So that was a huge thing for me. And then after that, I took a tour at the campus, and the person who was giving me a tour was going to go to school to be a priest, and here's me, getting to business school to get more money, be more successful, get into a big company, and he's a person who is going to school to give back to the community. And just from his perspective, what Notre Dame meant to him, what it meant to his family was a huge eye-opener for me. And I realized, if I'm into making relationships, if I'm into, making myself a better person, there's no really better place than Notre Dame for me. After coming to Notre Dame in 2003, I really believe everything good which has happened to me has somehow been related to Notre Dame. And it has been a heck of an experience. I wanted to work for GE, and Notre Dame alums opened all the right doors for me. And, they got me to a point where I was ready for an interview. And then the experience and the education I got in Notre Dame really got me through those interviews. So it was a phenomenal experience for me, and my first job was in Philadelphia, and I was trying to find a job for my wife, and I emailed a few Notre Dame alums, and the response was unbelievable. She got 6 interviews a week later, and she ended up getting a job through a Notre Dame alum. So the amount of help they've given me, and the amount of help they've given my family, I think has been phenomenal. No one can match that. And when you start working for a business, you always go through tough times at work, whether it's tough situations, whether it's deciding what is the better role for you. And I always come back to Notre Dame. I have a great mentor in Bill Brennan, and I always call him, once a week and say, this is what's going on, what do you think is the best thing for me? And just getting that advice from him is great.